Let's first take a look at one of the easiest and most effective techniques possible for organizational assessment. It's known as the 5 whys method. See, root causes rarely present themselves right off the bat or are identified immediately. Instead, we may misidentify deeper symptoms as root causes, but we still haven't gotten there. So we might think that the symptoms on the top, well, that's not the root cause. We need to look a step further down. And we do, and then we think, well, now we have solved it. We've found the root cause. Let's build a solution to fix this. Everything will be fine. Just to discover later on that we haven't actually fixed the underlying issue, that these were just additional symptoms. By asking why again and again a number of times, we can dig deeper into a situation and have a better understanding of when we truly do hit that rock bottom stage of understanding this is truly the root cause, or at least the deepest cause that we can find for the problem that we have identified. This is helpful in avoiding solutions that lack an understanding of the actual problem. It might simply act as a band-aid or a patch in the short term, but not help to solve it in a long-term comprehensive manner. Let's look at an example of how this might work in the real world. We have a text conversation here between a business analyst and a frontline specialist within a fulfillment center for an online retailer. The frontline specialist begins the conversation. I received a request to switch our fulfillment center to a new order management platform. Well, the business analyst responds, okay, sounds like a major project. Can you tell me a bit more about what's leading you to this request? Did you catch it? This was actually a way of us asking why, without ever saying the word why. If you think this might be a little bit like having a conversation with a toddler, it doesn't need to be. We can continue to ask why in intelligent manners throughout the conversation, and hopefully you'll see that here. The frontline specialist responds, well, about 20% of our orders received are shipping later than our target. They think the new platform will help. Well, the business analyst replies, we definitely don't want so many orders to ship late to customers. Do you have any perspective on where the bottlenecks exist currently? Here we've asked why again. So at first, we saw that there's been a request for a new fulfillment center. We learned a little bit more about what the problem might be. And now we want to get to the heart of the matter. Why is this problem occurring in the first place? Why are our orders shipping later than our target date? The analyst replies, that's just it. We timed the pick and pack staff and they're meeting target, but they often have to wait for the order manifest to come from a line manager and then report back when the order is filled so the supervisor can update the order with the shipping information. The business analyst replies, why is the line manager handling the order manifest and updating the orders manually? I can't imagine that's how our system was intended to work. Here, we've actually asked the question why for the first time, but this allows us to get another layer deeper. Our orders are shipping behind schedule. We have determined that they are doing so because there's this perceived bottleneck with our staff having to report back to managers for additional information and approval, but we still don't know why that's happening. So at this point, the specialist is really out of answers. He says, you're right, something sounds off. Let me check it out. A few hours later, he replies back. I was able to speak with the line manager. He says it's a limitation of the system, and there's nothing we can do about it. However, I checked out the system manual, and it looks like he's wrong. Pick and pack staff should be able to do all of this from their mobiles, rather than using paper copies printed by the line manager. The business analyst replies, so maybe we don't need a new system after all. Is there any reason the line manager wouldn't be aware of this feature? Here we've dug down yet again. See, at first, we thought that we just needed a new system. And then we knew that we needed a new system perhaps based on the fact that our orders were shipping late. Then we learned that they're shipping late because there were actually bottlenecks in speaking with managers. But now as we get farther down, it seems like perhaps there's a misunderstanding of the system that's at the heart of the issue here. The specialist replies, he did recently transfer from another facility using an older system. Maybe that was true for the last version, and no one's trained him on the newer version yet. The business analyst replies, is there any reason he wouldn't have received that training when he transferred over? Here we've asked why one more time. See, the real problem here isn't that our orders are behind, or that there's a bottleneck that requires the line manager to sign off, or even that the line manager had a misunderstanding as to how the system functioned. The true issue here is that he never received the proper training, which led to this cascade of additional issues up the line. The specialist replies, "We conduct training semi-annually. Checking over his records, it looks like he might have missed the last training session by a couple weeks." "There we go then," the business analyst replies. "Let's make sure to get him trained up, and let's put a plan in place to ensure any new transfers or additions receive training during orientation, rather than waiting for the next general training session." "Sounds good to me. I'll get right on it," replies the specialist. Here, we went from needing an entire new platform, as the original proposal, to simply needing some new training protocols put in place for employees who are transferring over in between those semi-annual training sessions that we already had on the books. We've come up with a solution that's far easier, far more elegant, and certainly vastly more affordable than it would have been if we had just accepted the surface-level symptoms, deemed them to be a root cause, and moved on accordingly.